We're going to look how can you scale beyond food with a super app, turning a food delivery platform into a super app. That's what we're going to look at. Because food delivery giants are really becoming daily life platforms. These super apps that everybody's talking about. Because while vertical, we're going to find out why is vertical integration key to margin growth, and how AI, Q-commerce, and embedded finance are really shaping the next billion-dollar user apps. And of course, how can you scale across 70 plus countries? That's the questions that, well, of course, our next speaker can answer. And I'm really excited to see him once again. I was just in Munich at Bits and Pretzels, another startup conference in Europe, and it was absolutely fascinating that he was here. Now he's here in Dubai because he's not that often on stages. So therefore, it's also a huge honor to have him with us, the CEO of Delivery Hero, who co-founded Delivery Hero and turned it and scaled it from a startup into a $12.8 billion business with 30 major acquisitions. And he describes Delivery Hero as not just a food player, but as a tech-powered infrastructure platform for commerce, logistics, and daily essentials. And he's going to be interviewed with no one else by the founding editor-in-chief of Wired UK. He's authored a best-selling book, which is called No BS Innovation, and spoken about at over 700 events, and has also invested in more than 180 startups, including 8 unicorns. So please welcome with me now, David, Rowan, and Niklas Östberg. Welcome! Great to have you. Thank you.
Anybody hungry? Do you want a shawarma, a biryani?
Yes.
Or maybe you need some deodorant, or maybe some toothpaste, or maybe your weekly shop? This man can arrange it. He's got a couple of million riders in 70 countries around the world and 50,000 employees making sure everything works. He doesn't just deliver food, he delivers whatever you want. Your weekly groceries, the item that you need in the next 10-15 minutes. Delivery Hero is where it started, but now the company that our next speaker runs is everywhere. Talabat, which made its famous IPO last year, is part of the group, but also companies like Glovo, Pedidos Ya, Food Panda. But Delivery Hero is moving to the next level, beyond just food, to creating a single app where magic happens. Niklas Ostberg, the co-founder and CEO of Delivery Hero, welcome. Tell us what a super app is. What's the difference between where you started helping us get our quick dinner and where you're going?
It started very nimble, I don't know, very small, but still very passionate about every single order. In the beginning, that was already back to 2008. There were no laptops, there were no internet, Wi-Fi, all of that. And we were celebrating every single order. And we were only just a marketplace for restaurants to be visible to consumers. Over time, we built out the logistic part. We realized that customers also want to have groceries. We also tried to perfect the experience by building our own kitchens, solve payment infrastructure, trying to solve for retail experience, and so on. So we have built up from being just a food marketplace to being today more of a super app of anything you want. And yeah, that's where we are.
And you have previously said that the opportunity for the super app with quick commerce, with payment wallets, with groceries, is more than 200 billion euros. So I guess you are on the early stages of getting there. But how do you convert the user from being somebody who wants a quick snack to somebody who embeds Delivery Hero in their life?
Well, you have to deliver a good experience, so that's where it starts. And I think we built a very good food delivery experience first, and people trusted us for doing that. And once we start with groceries and retail and gifting and so on, they also trusted us there, and they gave it a try. And I think the only way we can do it successfully is that we wow the customers every time. And that's why we build up our own stores, warehouses, such that we can deliver hundred thousands of SKUs in a matter of minutes. And that's why customers trust us.
How do you think about the technology aspect of the platform? Because you call yourself a tech platform that enables delivery. Where does AI, where does the tech operation fit into the thinking around the business?
I think AI sits in every part of the business, and most people speak about the LLM part, the user interface and so on, but if you look at our business, when you deliver more than 10 million orders per day, you kind of have to build a very strong technology platform. And as I said before, we are not a marketplace, we are a logistic company as well as building out retail capabilities. That means we have huge distribution centers with conveyor belts and packers and robotics, all of that, and in order to deliver in minutes at a low cost to our consumers. So the whole technology as well as AI is to improve every single process to enable people to get what they want at a low cost.
Give some examples of specific ways you're using AI to improve the customer experience.
Well, so one is the user interface. So we have tried different ways of making contextual search, meaning that you search, I don't want to have peanuts, or I want to eat something that is spicy, and so on. We even built an example with Talabat where we're shopping, where you said, I want to cook a tiramisu, or I want to do a chicken tikka masala. What do I need to order? And it already plays in basket. So we have done different experiments how we can actually enable the consumer to get more. But again, I think the biggest user value that we're building is to enable low cost and a high degree of items available. And that we know that what you want as a customer. And that sounds very easy, but it also means that we have to deal with every single second that we can save is millions of savings that we can pass on to consumers. Enabling someone to order a food item for, let's say, 5, 6, 7 euros and still getting delivered and making it hot requires a lot of technology to know exactly where a rider needs to be at what point in time and how we can stack it with other items. Or if you want to have a grocery item, we need to make sure that we get the right grocery items into the right location for you to order. And again, at the low cost, meaning that we have to have a condensed number of items per square meter. So there are so many examples where technology means a difference for consumers in order driving cost, speed, and availability of items.
And I imagine you're building an incredibly detailed profile of user intentions by getting lots of data about my interactions as a customer. How can you use this data, whilst respecting my privacy, to get me more engaged, get me buying more, get me engaging for longer on the super app?
We want to show what's relevant for you. So if you, someone has a very good taste, you don't mind if it costs a little bit more, then we will show restaurants that have the best quality, close to you, restaurants that we think that you like, or products that we think that you want. If I have a taste, I just want something cheap, but fill my stomach, I will be able to find that too. I will find the best deals, I'll find the low-cost items, I'll find saver options for me, because that might be what I look for. So a super app and making it I don't know, the preference of it needs to be visible in the app when you get there, that you need to see something that is attractive for you, which might be different for me. And that's a challenge.
You're a global company, but very active in the region here. People know Talabat well. How different is the business in the GCC region, in the UAE? And how has customer behavior varied compared within Europe, within Asia?
So Middle East is a fantastic market for us, and there is a clear difference between markets. I think Middle East is very technology savvy. It values service, and our core belief was that we have to always deliver the best customer experience. And the best customer experience you get when local teams work in the market. So that's why we build a lot of local technology, local teams, local ownership, accountability. And I think that's what we've done so great in Middle East, that you have Talabat is 100% focused on the Middle Eastern customer. And a team in Latin America will be 100% focused on that Latin American customer, which might be different. But I think this local approach and hiring strong engineering and talent pools locally makes a huge difference. It costs more, but it makes a difference to consumers. And later on, we have Tommaso here, who's running Talabat. He can speak more about Talabat in an hour.
And you started locally in Sweden, delivering online pizzas, and then Delivery Hero started with you involved in 2011, so it's 14 years on, and it's a big company now. Your first half of the year results recently, 25 billion euros in GMV for the first half of the year, 7 billion euros in revenue, now in an operating profit more than 400 million euros. Incidentally, and half of that GMV is from multi-app users, people not just ordering food. How do you stay nimble, agile, like a startup, when you have a couple of million riders and 50,000 staff to look after?
Yeah, I think it comes down again to the structure and both the culture and the structure we've built. We have a culture where the only thing we care for is the consumer. Every action we do should preference for the consumer. And that goes through the whole organization in every market. And secondly, managing that complexity is to have these local strong teams focusing on their region and their needs. And we started off also only handling one thing, which was food. And we only moved to become more of a super app when we really mastered the food delivery side. And once we mastered that, we went to groceries. And then we really tried to master groceries by building our own stores, own infrastructures. And now we're expanding to more verticals to be more of a super app, because that's what our customers want. But the complexity is managed a lot from a local level where they know the consumers. And that's what's very different between us and Uber and some of our American peers, is that we are truly local.
You talk about culture, and you're the boss, you're the storyteller-in-chief, the editor-in-chief. How does it work in practice when you are so widely distributed against so many markets? You know, there's 50,000 staff, but presumably you as CEO can only regularly check in with a handful. How do you make sure everybody is aligned, everybody's moving in the same direction, but also there's autonomy of decision making when people can transform a local business?
Yeah. Well, it all comes down to having teams that really buy into philosophy of consumers and focus on actions that drives value. And I think that's what you will see across the organization. And that goes to the next level and next level and next level. But I think it's fascinating how it filters through the organization. The behavior that we take, my actions, the actions of Tommaso and other leaders, it filters through. And that sets the culture, but in the end, it's also the bottom up, as you said. The innovation, the customers still sits at the front line, and giving them the autonomy to take action. But I think that it works fabulously well.
But what does it mean on a typical Monday for Niklas? You go into the office, what do you deal with? How do you run your week?
Yeah, I think it comes back to that, giving autonomy also to markets and making sure that they are bought in to drive the value. So I need to make sure that we have the best teams and the best setup for that. Then there are certain technology and things that we run from Berlin in Germany. And that's where I spend most of my time to making sure that they are delivering the value to the consumers and to the markets. So a regular week will start with having product reviews, business reviews, how performing. I can't even describe a normal week, but I think in every interaction is all about the consumer.
So you're clearly moving fast, and there's a lot of consolidation, and you historically have acquired lots of dominant players in markets, and you've extended the product range. But let's look ahead a bit. Let's look at what technology like AI enables you to do now that you're profitable, now that there's more capital coming in, you're able to make some bigger bets. What is the delivery hero of 5 years from now going to look like?
It will look dramatically different from today, but you won't notice each individual step. So when you look back 1 month, 1 quarter, maybe even 1 year, you'll be like, it got a little bit better. And then 2 years, it got a little bit better. And then you look suddenly back 5 years and realize, wow, what just happened? That's how I see innovation happening. It's rarely this like one moment to another, rarely.
But what does better mean?
And yeah, that will mean you will get it cheaper, faster, and more product choice at your fingertip. And it will be easier to order. He will know you better, and so on. So if you take an example on the whole AI space, so now we're innovating on the customer service, of course, like all companies do, to make it better, easier to resolve any problems you have. On the sales side, we're making sure that we can cover more restaurants in a better way, giving them advice how they can cook better, serve better, be faster, optimizing the dishes, set up a new store, maybe move into one of our kitchens. We also run 700-800 kitchens here in the Middle East, and to give more choice. So with AI, we also help them to optimize their business. Then if you look at technology, a lot of AI makes us move faster, meaning building more features. We recently, or fairly recently, launched post-pay alternatives here in the Middle East. We're launching Meal for One, that you can get a very good meal for one person delivered at a low cost from one of your neighboring restaurants. And that also comes with how can we optimize the cost and the experience and forecasting such that we can deliver you that one single meal at cost. So that's what I mean. All those small innovations that makes the restaurants better, make the rider more efficient, finding the door easier, solving problems if they occur, making sure that you have even more items you can order from, being flowers, being shoes, being I don't know, whatever you need. And so all those small steps makes a huge difference when it comes in 5 years. The same way, if you look 5 years back, Talabat and our business was severely worse. It's been so much innovation to drive this, but you didn't see every single step. You only see it when you take a 5-year view. You see the dramatic change that happened. And yeah, it will be faster, cheaper, better, more affordable.
And if I can buy shoes, it sounds like you're looking to be a retailer of all sorts of things way beyond food and groceries. Does that mean you're thinking of competing with the fashion delivery companies?
maybe shoes is not the first priority, but I think, and we are not necessarily want to compete on having big warehouses in the suburb and shipping from China and so on. We want to be empowering the local shops and local stores that are around you today, to making sure that they can thrive and survive in an area of e-commerce. We help them, giving them the tools, the local shops the tools to sell their products both offline as well as online. So we try to be everything in your area. We try to categorize it and make it available for an amazing experience to our consumers. But the items are picked from local shops and stores in your area. So we are rather the opposite of the Amazon of the world. We try to empower the local shops and stores. And that's what makes us different. Our warehouse is the city. It's not the suburbs warehouse center, it's the city stores.
How worried should Jeff Bezos be?
No, I hope he's not so worried. I hope we can, they run their model, we run our model, and I'm sure he will do well, but so will we. And I think we have a different expertise that they don't have. We are delivering very fast and very conveniently to our customers, and they have their strength, so we will probably both thrive.
Well, let's see if Jeff Bezos and Andy Jassy put in an order to buy Delivery Hero. Niklas Ostberg, creator, owner of what's now a super app, or a series of local super apps, Delivery Hero, thank you very much.
Thank you.